What's up YouTube? This is Jason from Team Library coming back at you guys with another video. And so today's not going to be any any gameplays today. Today we're just chilling. We're going to be vibing. So the deck we're going to be talking about today or discussing is going to be none other than the Stoicheia deck, Magnolia, post set 2, which is Brush a Legend, where this deck got a little bit of upgrade, a little power creep or whatever. So before we start the video, I just want to ask you guys if you could take that time to hit that subscribe, hit that like button, hit that bell, and all that good stuff. It'll be helping the channel out a lot. So on to the video. So the first one we're going to be talking about right now is going to be the right line for Magnolia. So for those who don't know what Magnolia specifically does, Magnolia is pretty much an aggressive deck. And you could call it pretty much what it is. It's an aggressive deck that needs their board to do stuff. So it needs the board to be able to attack multiple times. And you could pretty much, with the Vanguard and every unit in the back row, it literally what it does, it gives the back row power, being able to attack. So we're going to go card by card. So the first card we're going to be talking about is pretty much the starter for Magnolia. There's another starter, which looks like it's like a Jin that was for Zorga, but I think this one's a lot better. I like the art really well and it's SP. So for those who don't know what this card does, the card pretty much says if you go second, you get to draw a card. That's about it. Nothing fancy, nothing big. Just to draw a card. That's it. So the next one we're talking about, and this is, I call him Barney. So he's like, hey guys. So his ability, he has two effects. The first ability is on the right line. So when he gets ridden upon by the grade 2, which is Latex or something like that, it pretty much lets you call the top card of your deck. So the top card has to be a 2 or less, a grade 2 or less for you to call it. If it's not, you put it in Soul. So that's all he does. And on his secondary ability, and this is only from back row, if during the turn that this unit attack, this unit gets plus 5,000. I don't know why I kept thinking it's 10,000. So it's pretty much a 13k beach stick in the back row. And if Magnolia gives it power, it's 18k. So yeah. So next grade 2 we're talking about now, and this is Latas. Sorry about butchering the name. And what he does, or I don't know if it's a he or she, it's pretty much when Magnolia rides over it, you get Soul Blast 1 and call the top card of your deck. And I always I think this is a Soul Blast, right? Or Soul Charge. Yep, it's Soul Blast 1, reveal the top card of your deck and call it. And this one is not as restricted, like you need to do like the grade 1 where it has to be a grade 1 or grade 2 or less to be called. Whatever it is, you can just call it. And if it isn't, like if it's an order card, you put it into hand. It has to be a unit to be called. If it's an order card, just put it into hand. And the secondary ability has also some back row. When this unit attacks, you can Soul Blast 1 and this unit gets plus 10k. So pretty much it's a 20k beat stick in the back row. Or 25k with Magnolia's skill. So we're jumping to the grade 3, which is the Magnolia itself. So for Magnolia, he has pretty much a generic skill. So his skill is, after the attack, you can counterblast 1, give one of your back row units 5k and the ability to attack from back row. But if you Persona Ride that turn, instead of giving one unit, it automatically gives the whole back row 5k and being able to attack from back row. So he literally has a generic skill, which is okay. I wish it is 10k because you really need your back row in this game, especially to make him useful. But for what he does, he's still good. And then for the other grade 3, you have to play full Magnolia because Persona Ride is still a thing in this game. And you need to be able to Persona Ride as much as possible, especially when it comes to getting that 10k and drawing and pumping up your front row. You definitely need it. So you have to max them out. And from set, we're going to start with the set 2 stuff. So for the set 2, I'm playing this new grade 3. This is the Elephant. Magnolia before, when it first started, had a problem when it came to Soul Charging because most of the other cards require a Soul Blast to get their effects off. She's now there to fix that problem, but she's still a little weird card. For what she does is when she attacks, if you have, when it attacks, when this unit attacks, if there's 2 or more units in front of this unit gets plus 5,000. And then if there's 3 or more units in front of this unit, it gains a counter. You can counter charge at the same time. So pretty much you have to put in the back row, have a unit right there, and then your opponent has to have another unit to get the 5k. Then if they have an extra your booster, she automatically soul charges, which is sometimes difficult because if you notice in Overdress, most decks don't play boosters. If they do, those boosters automatically gets retired, or they have an effect where they retire themselves with counter charge or something like that. Or if you, for example, if you have Dragon Empire with that grade 1, if it hits, it counterblast 1, retire itself and search for the Persona Ride. So most decks really don't have boosters. Some do, but you really have to make sure you put it on the right location. If you put it anywhere else, it's pretty much just a 13k beat stick with no effects. And now we're going to the grade 2. So the grade 2s we're going to be talking about. This is from the trial deck. So he pretty much has a generic skill, and which I think is still should be playing any deck. It's pretty much if you have a full board, it gets 5,000 during your turn and your opponent's turn. So pretty much if you're on your opponent's turn, it's a 15k. No matter what, until they pop one of your rear guard or something crazy. But it's still there just to be able to poke. It's a 13k, which is magic number. You don't even really need a booster. You can just poke your opponent for 13k, which is forcing a 5k out of their hand, or they're going to just take it. And then for the tech in this deck, I'm playing this Ox. So for those who don't know, this is also from set 2. Though those who don't know what it does, it's pretty much from back row. It's an axe skill. Oh, not back row. An axe skill. You can counterblast 1. Until end of turn, this unit gets back row ability. When this unit attacks, this unit battles all your opponent's front row rear guards. Front row units or rear guard? Yep, front row units. So you have it in back row. You can counterblast 1. Activate this skill, and then when Magnolia swings, it automatically gives them the ability to attack from back row, an extra 5k. So pretty much it's automatic at 20k beat stick without triggers. So if you notice, a lot of decks like Bastion needs their front row grade 3s to be able to do it, especially when it comes to guarding. Like the Blitz order they have, you have to have a full grade 3 in the front row just to be able to guard, or at least 3 grade 3s. Grade 3, if they don't have anything, you can literally attack it and keep clearing out their board every single turn. But I only play this at 1 because it's a very situational card, and it's a heavy counterblast, because Magnolia counterblasts and this counterblasts. But I think it's still a good card to play in the deck, just so to have that ability to clear out their front row if it's becoming problematic. And then for the other grade 2 we're playing in the deck, and this is the new grade, pretty much mini Magnolia as a fox. Is it a fox or a nine-tail? Well, whatever it is. So it has 2 different abilities, which the first ability, which makes it really good, it's an auto skill. 1 place, you can Soul Blast 1, choose one of your units, and give it 5,000 and the ability to attack from back row. And the secondary ability is usually the secondary ability really doesn't go off that much. It's once per turn, you can, when this unit is chosen by your Vanguard's effect, this unit gets 5k. So if Magnolia gives it a skill, it automatically gives itself 5k. So that makes it a 15k or a 20k beat stick automatically early, just to pump it up a little bit more. I like this card because you don't really have it, because you don't really at first turn your opponent to damage denying you really don't need Magnolia to get the skill off. You just call it Soul Blast 1, give it 1 unit to attack the back row. And that way you can start getting early attacks off. If you get Magnolia, you get Counter Blast, you can get that 5 attacks early and try to push your opponent as fast as possible. Because Magnolia has this weakness where if your opponent starts tempoing it out, or how do I say this? Not really tempoing it out. If your opponent is a deck that can be resilient, this deck really will lose to it because it can't keep generating cards like that like any other deck. Like, for example, if it's facing Bruce or Bastion, it needs to aggro them as quickly as possible, because once they start going, there's a good chance you're not going to have either enough cards in hand, they have their retire, they have the restand, they have all that stuff going on for them. You won't be able to survive the long game with this game, with this deck. But it's still a fun deck to play, so why not? So, for the other grade 2 I play in the deck, and this is a 3 of. I'm playing 3 of this card because At first, I was playing that grade one that Zorga plays. The one I forgot what it's called. You Soul Blast when you call something from drop zone. This pretty much does the same thing, but instead of what I like, two reasons why I like it is because it's a body on board. So the only thing that sucks about it, you have to call it from hand. So when she's called, you can Counter Blast one, Soul Blast one. You get to choose a card equal or lower than your Vanguard. I believe that's what it says. Oh no, sorry. You have to choose a grade 2 or less from drops when called to rear guard. And if you call the unit, it gets +5. That unit gets +5,000. So pretty much it helps you rebuild your board if you don't have anything on board. So pretty much you can Counter Blast if they killed this last turn, you get a Counter Blast and bring it out, and then this card automatic activates the effect and give something else to be able to attack from back row. So she's really good, but I think 3 of is good enough. You can always play at 4 if you choose to, but I think 3 is good enough for me right now. And so the other grade, now we're going to grade 1. So the grade 1 I'm playing right now, and this is Mantis. And I think this card shouldn't have really explanation because when it's placed, you get to give another unit 5k. That's all it does. And I like it because it helps pump up some other cards on board. Like just to make it hit the magic number, or if I want to try to beat my opponent and knowing the fact that I'm not going to get enough power to do anything, just call it, give some other unit power, and pump them up just so that they're able to attack from back row. And then for the other grade 1, you have to play the PGs. They're pretty much self-explanatory. You definitely have, if you're not playing PGs, you're not doing it right. I don't know what you're doing. So the other grade 1 I'm playing, this is from Festival Collection that came out. So this card pretty much is simple. It's a 15k. The only effect it has is that you have to put it behind Magnolia. And the other problem also it has no shield value. So you can put it behind Magnolia. When Magnolia swings, you can give it the skill to attack from back when it's a 20k attacker. So nothing else to say about that. And now we're going to go to the orders. So for orders, and this is just my opinion, I think you have to play 4 of Wild Intelligence. So for those who don't know what Wild Intelligence does, it's when you play this card, you have to Counter Blast 1, and then you discard the top 3, pretty much mill the top 3 cards of your deck, and then you get to call 1 equal. I believe it has to be equal or less to your Vanguard. But if you're Magnolia, instead of calling 1, you get to call 2 cards. So pretty much for 1, you get 2 cards off the board to help rebuild your board. Or like I said, if this was retired or did something to it, you could call the grade 2 and start getting your combos off again to help you build up your board so Magnolia can take advantage of those. So this card is really good. I wish they gave the cards that they called 5k also, so it would start freaking your opponent out every time you used it. So that would be cool. And so the other card I'm playing, the other order, and this is Ghost Chase. And I know a lot of people already know what this card does. It doesn't really need introduction. So for whoever doesn't know about it, it's pretty much a 5k guard. It's a blitz order. So when your opponent would swing at you, you would play this, and you would get to bounce a unit back to your hand. In this case, 5k. So pretty much the way people have been using it was either they would use maybe Wild Intelligence, get a PG back or over trigger back, and on my opponent's turn when they swing, activate this, bounce a PG or Wild Intelligence back to my hand, just to be cheeky like that. The only reason most people are playing this card at 2, but I think 1 is good enough for me because the problem I had, and this is the problem I've been having with all Stoicheia decks, whether I was playing Magnolia or Zorga. It always a problem when you're close to winning the game and your opponent swings and you just need that extra 5k shield, and you ended up either pulling an order or you're facing a deck that mostly retired all your board and you have nothing to bounce. So this becomes a deck card that does nothing. So that's usually why I try to keep my orders at 5 or less. But if it's Zorga, you have to play it higher. That's one thing. So moving on. So for trigger lineup, you gotta play the over trigger. This is like the best over trigger in my opinion. So it pretty much does everything that every trigger in the game, pretty much in overdress. So for those who don't know, when you activate this, you get to draw. You draw a card from the over trigger, and then you get to draw additional card. You get to heal. You get to get front. You get to get a critical. So this is amazing. You get pretty much everything on both worlds. You get all the stuff you want in the game: the critical, the front, the heal, the draw, and you still get the 1 million power too. So yeah. And then we gotta play 4 of the heals. If you're not playing heals, then I don't know what game you're playing, but you definitely need heals. Helps you heal and stay longer in the game. In this deck, the thing you probably would notice, I'm not playing the fronts, the new fronts that came in the set 2. And the reason why I don't play it and I play in criticals instead is because the fronts are good in a way, but most of the time you want your back row to be pumped up. And the fronts don't target the back row. As soon as you hit one, they just go all to the front where you can't assign where the trigger goes off. I think crits are a lot better in this deck because you don't want to play the long game. Because eventually you're going to run out of steam or you're going to run out of Count Blast, and then your back row is going to be vanillas and dead on board. So you want to try to push your opponent as fast as possible so that you can maybe win the game. And then for the last triggers I play in the deck, we play 5 draws. And the reason why I'm playing 5 draws is because this deck is aggro. You pretty much call it aggro. It's pretty much an aggro deck. And the problem is you need your pieces. If you're not getting your pieces, you're literally not doing anything on board. So you need your draws just to help you build up your hand and get the cards that you need so you can go at least to be doing something with the deck. So this is pretty much my deck. Let me know what you guys think of the deck. But I know there's going to be comments out there. There's some cards I'm not playing. And these are like honorable mentions. This is pretty much my opinion. The Bear. You can still play the Red Line, the Grade 1. And then you can play this new card. But I haven't really played it. So you really have options in this deck from the set 1 and 2 that's out there for this deck. Where you can literally play anything you want. It's really up to you how you feel about what you're playing in the deck. So just before I do let you go, I want to ask you guys if you can take the time to hit that like, subscribe button, and comment down below what you guys think I should do, change the deck, or what updates you think the deck needs to make it a lot better. Would be greatly appreciated. As always, thank you for watching, and this is Jason from Team 9 Right, signing out.